How we doing, my friends? Florida History Hunter. We're out exploring the old property, west side of DeLand. Butts up against DeLand Amtrak and Sunrail station, and this is all going to be about 649 homes they're putting on this piece of property. And then there's another property right there. At some point in time was separated from the original estate that was here. This is all orange groves at one time. So from here it's about a quarter mile to the highway. That's also going to be homes. That area up over there is going to be homes. That's part of this project. And then across the street on that corner to the right is, all the way up to the highway, is going to be the another housing project. And just out over into there, in that area right there, beyond the tree line, is a new project they just put in. And if you can see up where the road is way out at there, to the right is another new development that just went in recently. This area over here, back in there's still a two-story Spanish Revival home, and across the street you can see there's a vehicle passing right about where it's at, and a little bit further on the other side of this triangle here was another Spanish Revival home. They just tore those two down about a month ago. Down on that corner over there is still a Spanish Revival home. That's also two-story, and I heard that that's also coming down, but it's still occupied. The people there I guess they're locked in on a lease, and I don't know if it's going through the courts or not. So this area right through here that we're heading into was the middle of the orange grove. Well, I don't mean middle, let's put it this way. It was sort of the operation center of sorts for the orange groves that used to be in all this area. And as we come up here, just a moment, we'll do a pan and scan around. Now this is actually shown as a legitimate town road, and as well as there was actually where that telephone pole is to the right, and up against that tree line was another road that was supposed to intersect with this one. This is still Euclid, and I don't exactly recall what this road. Let me kind of get it situated to where we're sort of standing in the middle of the road. I think the road would have been right about here. So this is actually still on the map as a road. Right here, this little clearing right here was a home, and then back there, which is now on somebody else's property, and somewhere along this area right here is the newer property line. But back there you can see that tin building, and that was the fruit packing facility for the orange groves here. And now you can see it's mostly pine trees, smaller pine trees, and these are farm pines. I call them farm pines. These are the pine trees that were hand planted in rows to be harvested for lumber. And for the person that purchased this property, and this is an anomaly here in Florida, it's very rare that a developed piece of land with structures on it gets purchased, because the city and county and state make it easier to build new where nothing's been built before. So developers are always running around grabbing wooded areas. They grabbed this property. There are two reasons behind the decisions that they made. And the first one being that it was agricultural. And agricultural property is a lot less expensive. And so what they'll do is they'll come up and buy, no pun intended, they buy the property dirt cheap, and then they get a zoning change. Grease a couple wallets downtown and get a zoning change. And then of course, flip it and make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And excuse me, the second reason that they acquired this property, and all of a sudden this whole part of west DeLand, which has been kind of like a sanctuary for everybody, yeah, the motivation on the second front is the property butts right up against the train station, and they're playing on the fact that people are going to want to commute down to Orlando, you know, for work and all. But we all know how that is going to, the outcome of that. Americans like their cars, man. People don't want to have to drive someplace and get out and then hop on a train and then have to worry about how they're going to get out around and about at their destination. So I can't say that it's going to be a success. The commuters train station, but when they passed it and finally extended the rail north from DeBarry, DeBarry's the last town going south before you get into Seminole County, coming out of DeLand, Orange City, Deltona, DeBarry. That's where the last station used to be, and now DeLand has become the furthest northern reach. So there's two motivations: being able to get an extremely large acreage for basically a song and a dance. And there was also a planned road that was supposed to come through there at one time. I saw an older map that showed a road there. Wow, okay. So back here was a pole barn, right here in this vicinity. And it got demoed about a month ago. There was, from what I understand, nothing was salvageable. The sad thing about a lot of the building material is that it didn't survive the time. Main reason being not being lived in, and in a moment we're going to go walk in another spot, and there was a very large multi-story barn. Got a good friend of mine that's in the architectural salvage business, and they got the contract to come in and extricate as much of the building material that they could grab. And over a period of, I don't know, a week or two, they came into the cabin that was here, and they went into the Spanish Revival homes that have already been taken down, and they started salvaging lumber, probably windows and doors and things like that. But they said mostly on the account of nobody having lived there, and a few of the structures had some previous storm damage to their roofs, and so for a long time, as much as a decade and a half, some of these structures have been wide open to the elements. And it's a tragedy because the barn itself had some tremendous, I mean, there were rafters beams this big, but they were all inundated with not as much termite damage as powder beetles. And those are bad news. They make little pinholes in all the wood as they burrow their way through or eating it. It was all like not usable lumber. My friend told me that it was a tragedy that they couldn't get anything off the barn. And there was not only was it because there was a gigantic hole in the roof, and you know, probably 15, 18 years of hurricanes, tornadoes, and Florida monsoon rains and all. He said it wasn't even safe to enter the building. It's sad, there was a lot of stuff in there. The third or fourth floor was completely full of lumber that had been rough sawn and stored up there. I mean, it looked beautiful until you got up close to it, and then you could see the little pinholes in it. And it was like I said, the structure was so rickety, damaged, that my buddy Danny, he said that the only way they were able to actually see the inside of the barn was for him to have flown his drone through the roof. And he did a flyabout inside, and at least was able to record how cool it was on the inside. And like I said, there was all kind, there was furniture, there was clothing, books, and just all kinds of cool stuff, antique bottles, but it was a hazard to go in there. Oh, look, I just found a coin laying on the ground. And it is it's like a penny. It's not a super old one because it's got the Lincoln Memorial on the back, but it's well corroded. So I'm gonna guess it's gonna be at least 50s or 60s. We'll get it home, we'll get it cleaned up. Kind of ironic, I'm actually gonna meet it. Oh, look at that. Just found a piece of Indian pottery right there. Look at that. That was my mission for today. I'm gonna meet a fellow explorer, another piece of pottery right there. And another coin right there. And it is also a penny. So I'm actually meeting a fellow metal detectorist out here, and I just found another pottery fragment. Cool, cool. So yeah, I brought the metal detectors in the car, and with the intentions of just, you know, doing my surface finding of the Indian pottery. So it's kind of funny that I'm finding coins and I don't have the detector with me. But we're going to snatch up these fragments of Indian pottery. I'm going to get my gloves on. This pile I'm in right now, it's got a funky smell, like a chemical smell. Which makes sense, they might have been parking tractors here. You know, it's hard to know what they were doing in this pole barn. Oh, incidentally, in case people are curious about the snail shells. So, the snail shells were brought in here back probably when this property was set up. It was brought in here, horse and wagon, and they would go along the river, St. John's River, and before the late 1800s, when they started establishing this area, it had been the home to the St. John's culture Indians. And said Indians, different tribes, had to eat. And as we in our society today have potato, sort of a main staple, rice is sort of a main staple, McDonald's is sort of a main staple for some clowns, the indigenous peoples here ate a lot of snail. Escargot. Look, there's another fragment of Indian pottery right there. So they ate a lot of snails. And when I say a lot of snails, it'd be safe to bet that each Indian consumed a few thousand pounds of snails in a lifetime. Every Indian for 1,000 or 2 years. And so after you finish eating, you're going to have a big pile of snail shells, and they would just throw them into a pile, and eventually the piles became hills and small mountains. And then they started settling the area, people coming from up north, the Euro-Americans, we'll call them, and they decided they wanted to build, and the land was not even, or kind of mucky or swampy, and they would go down to the river and they would dig up all these seashells, or they're not really seashells, they're snail shells. Let's call the shell the right thing. So they would dig these shells up and they would throw them on their property and build on top of them. And also that the cities and the town and the state did it. They would use it for the bed for underneath roads. And at the time, when they were doing this, nobody realized the historical, archaeological significance of what they were digging up. So now it's against the law to molest any shell mound, and the term for these shell mounds is called a midden, M-I-D-D-E-N, and all through this part of Florida one can find middens scattered along waterways, lakes, and as you get a little more east towards the beach side, you don't find the snail shell as much. Those people, which were a sub-tribe of the St. John's culture. I mean, the St. John's culture is sort of a blanket name for the entire region of Indians. And then there's sub-tribes, and there's also what's known as chiefdoms. And so your chiefdoms would be your little community villages. And beachside, those communities, their main staple was oyster. And so you see oyster mounds, beautiful large oyster mounds, and mixed in with your food garbage would be the rest of your throwaway items, everyday consumables, cooking vessels, food transportation vessels, water vessels. And so these middens are usually packed full of Indian artifacts. So I've been coming out here on and off for a few weeks and haven't done any metal detecting yet. just looking on the surface, looking for little pieces of Indian pottery. And my collection went from a whopping 5 pieces before I started hiking the property here to over 200. Now, I haven't found anything other than the shell, and I mean the pottery fragments. But, oh, is that another coin? Seems very soft. So I don't know if it's a coin or some kind of metal punch out. We'll get it home and we'll get it cleaned up and find out. Oh, so not only would there be pottery, but there's going to be arrowhead, bone fragments. And the bone fragments are going to be animal and also human bone fragments. Smoking pipes, broken smoking pipes. Anything that would have been discarded would have ended up in some kind of midden. And so when I find out about these properties, it gives me an opportunity to do a little bit of walkabout and see what we can't discover, rescue, and share said findings with the rest of the world. Okay, so we're gonna take a walk over here now to the where the barn was. There's a couple old bricks right there. Kind of bizarre, like just a couple days ago, nature was trying to kill us all with Hurricane Milton. And the next morning, we had gone from our normal, quote, abnormal, extended summer down here in Florida, where it was like ludicrously hot. What's that? It's like a little, oh, okay, it's the backing washer for a rivet of some sort. Really hot. So yeah, I went from 100+ mph wind gusts and beyond deluges of rain to a nice cold front where it was like 68 degrees, and then wham bam, midday yesterday, our Indian summer appears again. So it's pretty warm today. There's a piece of oh, okay, that's a lamp shade, lampshade, milk glass, waffle glass. We're going up in the air like that, like a sconce goes. There's charcoal, like from the fireplace right here. It's a big pile of it right there, all through here. And I'm pretty sure it's actual legitimate coal. Yeah, this is actual coal. You hear how hard it is? And how long has it been since people burn coal? Small pieces of coal too. Up north, coal chunks are real much bigger. But you know, how long ago has it been since people had coal burning furnaces in their homes? This is, I ought to tell you how old this property is. Oh, soft spot there. Whew. So all of this was a very, very large barn. This whole area right through here, right up to those trees, right up, almost to that other tree line right there. What's that? I see something right there, an artifact. And it is chrome shutoff valve. Bathtub. Hot water bathtub. It's nice. It's still intact. Not bad for being probably 1920s. And it's still intact. There's a hammerhead. How we doing, my friends? Part of History Hunt there. We're back after having taken a nice little break and talking with my metal detector friend. And we're back on the hunt for some surface finds. Excuse me, I gotta get me sunglasses on. Sun glare. Piece of porcelain. It's like part of a plumbing fixture. Asphalt. Asphalt shingle. Look at that. There's a You know, 2 pieces of a St. Augustine paver. There's another one right there. There's a maybe a starter igniter or something. Porcelain, wire on the end, and this end looks like the fitting you would get for a on a spark plug. Not sure what that is. We'll add it to the collection. Get it back and do a little investigation. A lot of what I'm doing just takes a lot of patience, because I'm looking everywhere to try to spot out shapes and colors that don't look natural. That's how I spot pottery. Sometimes it's easier to see the stuff after a couple days after it's rained, or it has a chance to dry out, and it takes on sort of a flat look compared to the rest of the type of debris that we would find around here. Piece of fire brick there. I'll bet you there's a lot of brick out here. Well, there's no betting. I know there's a lot of brick out here. Doesn't seem like I'm doing too good today. Seems like somebody's already picked up everything. Oh, wait a minute, that would have been me. There's another tube. knobbing tube, but it's pretty beat up. I'm not gonna take it. Yeah, it's a nice thick piece of glass there. Look at that. It's kind of plate. I'm bouncing it off a piece of rock. Pottery? No, not pottery. Not pottery. That might be. Nope. Piece of wood. In case you're just joining us, awfully quiet video today. It's your Florida History Hunter. Click that like button down below if you haven't had an opportunity to do that. And subscribe to our channel if you would, please, so we can keep the channel up and running. We're out here West DeLand today on an old orange grove site. And they have recently removed a barn and an old cabin and a couple other homes across the property to begin a large housing development. And we're out here looking through the old fill. That I'm just getting a call. My buddy, metal detector, just found a cool antique bottle. We're gonna work our way over there. Where you at, bro? Found something very cool. Let's go see what they got. What'd you find? All right, my metal detector buddy Joe just found an old ring, and he's up under the trees. Let's take a look at. Oh, look at that, people! Oh, look at that.
That's what we do it for, y'all.
Look at that.
Dig 100 pieces of junk to find one goodie.
And that's real gold.
Real gold.
And it looks like it's got
opal.
And what's the inlay?
I can't tell.
It looks like enamel, maybe?
I don't know.
And folks, that's what it's about. For every 1,000 pounds of junk, you get this beautiful. Look at that. Oh no, man! You know what that is? That's diamond, brother.
Yeah.
That's
dirty.
That's a legit diamond. I can see the cut in it. Once the light hits it, it's clear.
Yeah.
It's So my buddy just found a beautiful gold and diamond ring with, looks like enamel inlay. Can't read the numbers, but it's got a K mark on the inside, so we know it's legitimate gold. And it's bright shiny, and it just came out of that hole of dirt. Well, all right, man.
14.
We give him a congratulations, and that's what it's about.
Top pocket find right there. Right in the top pocket.
Right in the top pocket, and not where you put your keys. Because I've done that. I found things and get home, or you get into the car and reach in and grab your keys, and you get home, you don't have it anymore.
Good find. I almost didn't dig it because the can tab rings up like a ring. Glad I did. Cool.
Well, thanks for watching, my friends. Click that like button. Subscribe to our channel. Florida History Hunter. Thanks for watching.